Okay, babies, this is it. So, today we are going to be talking about something we have talked before, and that's past simple versus past continuous. In the past, babies, we have checked, the previous semester, the previous classes, we have checked about all of the things related with past simple, and the previous week we checked all of things related to past continuous. So today, and before beginning, we are going to check what do you remember. We are going to make like super fast review on our own, and then I am going to explain everything again just for you to have clarity about this topic. When to use past simple, when to use past continuous, when to use both tenses in the same exercise, for example, okay? So we are going to begin talking about past simple. What is that? What do you remember of past simple? What can you tell me? If I say past simple, guys, we have talked about it. Check your notes, bring like your knowledge here to class, and let me know. Past simple. What is that, my dears? Okay, Sammy. I guess that you are going to send it this through the chat. So send it through the chat attack, baby. I know you don't have the microphone today. You tried. I know you tried. But go ahead. Just send me your answer through the chat and I will read it for your partners. Okay, and while Sammy is sending his answer, what else can you tell me? What is past simple? What do you remember, guys? I know you know. Take a look to the name past simple. For example, okay, Sammy says, we use it when we are talking about things that are done. O sea, ya acabaron. Okay, that's it. So, babies, past simple is used to talk about activities in the past that are already finished. Finished activities, finished actions in the past. For example, I ran yesterday. I watched TV yesterday night. Or you can say, I went to the school. Or you can say, I talked to my mother. Or you can say, I read a book. Can you see? But those actions are in the past and those are finished actions. Things that are over, things that has finished. We have something important in past simple. Do you remember that? We have something with the verbs. How do we have to write the verbs in past simple? In infinitive, in the normal way? Or what do we have to do with the verbs in past simple? Beto, what can you tell me? What do we have to do with the verbs in past simple, baby? What do we have to take into account with the verbs? What can you tell me, Beto? Wow, very super quiet. So, for example, Pachito, what can you tell me? What do we have to do with the verbs in past simple? How can I put the verb?
You need to put it in past because it's past simple.
That's it. So that's the answer. I know sometimes you don't answer because you don't know if the answer is going to be good. But yes, Pachito, it's really easy. It's not the answer. Well, if you are talking about past simple, well, you have to put the verb in past. Easy peasy. The verb in past. But when we talk about the verbs in past, we have two kind of verbs, Pachito. Which are those two kind of verbs? Who knows, Pachito or someone else? Which are the two kind of verbs we have in past tense? We have regular verbs and what else?
And irregular.
And irregular verbs. So remember, babies, we are going to have regular verbs and irregular verbs. What happened with regular verbs, Sophie? What happens if I have a regular verb? How is the past form of a verb that is regular? Un verbo regular. How is the past form? Go ahead, Sophie.
Uh, I don't know, but I think that with the regular verbs put ed or no. I'm not.
Yes, you got it. You got it. Believe in yourself. You
Yes.
have the knowledge. Yes, princess, very good. When you
Ah,
have a
okay.
regular verb, yeah, don't hesitate. When you have a regular verb, babies, you have to end with ed. Easy peasy. All the regular verbs are going to end in ed. Todos los verbos regulares van a terminar en ed. You got it. And what happened with the irregular verbs? Who can tell me? Maybe Daniel. Danny, what happened with the irregular verbs?
A ver, Miss. I don't remember so well.
You can do it, Danny. I know you know. So if with regular verbs we have to finish with ed, si con los regulares terminas con ed, what happened with the irregular verbs? Tell me, Danny. You can do it.
I think the regular change. Uh,
That's it. When you have irregular verbs, the irregular verbs change. Okay? The irregular verbs change the structure. You know that we have been working with, for example, the list of verbs you have in the back part of your book, like the list of verbs. An easy way to identify regular verbs from irregular verbs is that most of the times when you don't have the verbs in the list, that means those verbs are regular. Not all the time because we don't have like the list like super complete. But most of the times with the most common verbs, if you don't have the verbs in the list, that means those verbs are going to be regular. What's important here, you have to memorize the verbs. So that's it, guys. Basically, that's past simple. You are going to use your subject, you are going to use the verb in past tense, and you are going to use the complement. But we have something else, guys. In past simple, we have an auxiliary verb. What is the auxiliary verb in past simple? For example, for questions, to say something in negative. What's the auxiliary verb? Majo Vélez, tell me. Majo, can you hear me, princess? Are you there? Is your microphone working?
ya puso que no, de pronto lo está escribiendo.
Oh, maybe. No, yeah, but she had like her hand on the air like some minutes ago, so maybe. I thought that maybe it was working. So, okay, don't worry. So, for example, Majo, no, princess, no, that's for present simple. That's for present simple. But for past, we have something different. Para el pasado tenemos otro. What is the auxiliary verb for past simple, Juan Pablo? What do you remember, guys? The auxiliary verb for past simple, Juan Pablo. What can you tell me?
Miss, can you repeat que se te trabó?
Yes. What is the auxiliary verb for the past simple tense? What do we use if we want to say something in negative, if we want to make a question? What is the auxiliary verb?
Esos no eran los de ING, ¿no? No, eso
No, todavía no. ING es continuo. Estamos en pasado simple. ¿Quién se acuerda? It begins with D.
No, profe, no me acuerdo.
No,
Ahí,
okay, don't worry. Tell me, baby.
ahí no sé si eran esto, pero les escribió do, das.
No, esos son los del presente. Por eso le dije no.
Que como yo no miro el chat, entonces.
No, don't worry. It's okay. So, guys, what's the auxiliary verb? It's just one verb. It's just one. Please speak in English. Don't forget that. It's just one verb. Juan D, do you remember the auxiliary verb in past simple? What's the auxiliary verb? Juan D, I know you know. It begins with D, and it has 3 letters. Just 3 letters. Who knows it? Sally, tell me.
No es do or does.
Do or does? No, eso es el que estoy diciendo que es de presente. You got it. No. It is did. Did, guys. I am going to. You have your cards. ¿En dónde están tus tarjetas? Dios mío. Did, babies. Did. That's the auxiliary verb. Yay, great job. So when you want to make questions or when you want to say something in negative in past simple, you have to use it. So for example, you can say, I went to the library yesterday, like that is an affirmative, or you can say, I did not or I didn't go to the library yesterday. Remember, babies, that when you use the auxiliary verb, you have to put the verb in the normal way. Si tú ya tienes un auxiliar, pues entonces el verbo ya no te va a cambiar. ¿Se acuerdan, amores, que no va a cambiar porque tienes un auxiliar? So that's past simple. Here we have like the review. Now, babies, let's talk about something you have like in your mind because we have been working with that during more or less 2 weeks. And that is past continuous. So here we go. When do we use past continuous? Who can tell me? That's the last topic we talk about. When do we use past continuous?
Use the past continuous to describe an action in progress.
An action in progress, but in the past. Pilas con el pasado, ¿listo? What happened? It is going to be an action that is in the past, an action that is finished, but it had a duration in time because it is continuous. It has a duration in time, but that time was in the past. For example, I was watching TV. When? Well, like, I don't know when, but I was doing that and I spent some time doing that. Or you can say, I was starting my computer 5 minutes ago. So it took some time, but now it is in the past. It is a finished action, but it had a duration in the time. Acciones que terminaron, acciones en el pasado, pero que tomaron un tiempo determinado para ser realizadas, okay? So here we go. What is the structure, guys? If we have continuous, there are 2 important things we have to take into account. Who can tell me which are those 2 important things we have to take into account? There is something I told you guys. Every single time you use a continuous form, you have to use this. Then they are in super in love and you can divide them. Okay, you have one part, ing, so the main verb with ing, and before that, antes del verbo con ing, ¿qué ponen? Verb to be, you got it. So don't forget, babies, you have to use every single time in continuous ing, but also verb to be, okay? Ing and verb to be. In this case, babies, as you are talking about past, how is the form of the verb to be? How are you going to use verb to be? You know that in present, the verb to be is am, is, or are. But what happened in past? What is the past form of the verb to be? ¿Cuál es la forma pasada del verbo to be? For example, okay, you have it there in the chat. You have was or you have were. That's the past form of the verb to be. So basically, babies, when you are writing something in past continuous, you are going to use was or were by taking into account the object. Remember this, was for singular, were for plural. Acuérdense, was, he, she, it, and I, una sola persona, una sola cosita, and were when you have a lot, when you have they, when you have we, when you have you, and that's it, okay? So keep it in mind. If you want to make questions, you just have to switch. If you want to say something in negative, you just have to put not. So questions up to this point, babies, this was like a super fast review, but we are going to stop once again in these 2 things in today's explanation. But let me know, before beginning, like literally with the explanation, do you have questions? Okay, no questions. So let's begin, beautiful dears, with our today's class explanation. And today we are going to be talking about past simple versus past continuous. Let's do it, my dears. Here we have a story. So what are we going to do? I just want us to read the story, and then we are going to identify in which parts of the story we are using past simple and in which parts of the story we are using past continuous, okay? So we are going to read this story. We have, on a cold, dark night, Tim was working in the office. At midnight, he finished his work. As he was leaving the office, he realized that the streets were empty. He was walking back home when he heard some footsteps. He turned around, but no one was there. He walked faster, but the footsteps seemed closer and louder. As he was running home, he saw a bar and he hid there. There, he asked for help. I was walking home and someone was following me. But the barman said, "Man, the footsteps are yours. The soles of your shoes came off." Okay? So that's it, guys. Look at this story. Take a look to that, and we are going to try to identify in which moments we are using past continuous, in which moments we are using past simple. Okay? So let's begin by here. On a cold, dark night, Tim was working in the office. What do you have there? Simple or continuous? Who can tell me?
Continuous.
Continuous, that's it. Tim was working in the office. Continuous, muy bien. What happened, babies? If you realize, do you remember that the previous class I told you that, for example, with the background, with the context of the story, you are going to use past continuous? This is what is happening here. Here, the person who wrote this is telling you, okay, look at this. This is the context where our story is going to happen. Este es el lugar, este es el contexto que tenemos en el cual va a suceder nuestra historia. So by taking that into account, one of the first uses is to talk about context. On a cold, dark night, Tim was working in the office. Esto estaba pasando. Ese es el contexto que tenemos. Let's continue. At midnight, he finished his work. Simple or continuous? That's it. You got it. Simple. At midnight, he finished his work. What happened here? You have specific times, specific actions that had already finished. En medio de la historia, en medio de este contexto, estaba trabajando, pero en este momento, en este punto específico, acabó de hacer algo. So, specific things that finished. Let's continue. As he was leaving the office, he realized that the streets were empty. Simple or continuous, guys? Who can tell me? As he was leaving the office, he realized that continuous and simple, both. Ahí tienen ambas. So what happened, guys? When we are talking about the story, babies, and we have two actions that are happening like almost at the same time, we are going to use both. As he was leaving the office, cuando él ya se estaba yendo de la empresa, he realized that the streets were empty. Se dio cuenta. Mientras estaba bajando, yéndose, el contexto de lo que está pasando, notó algo. Se dio cuenta de algo. Look at this. As. Look at this word. As. Mientras. Este as es como mientras. ¿Vale? Y ahí ustedes van a tener dos acciones. Les pregunto, ¿esta de acá sí está en continuo y esta de acá sí está en pasado? But let me ask you something. What is the action that happened first? The fact that he was leaving the office or the fact that he realized that the streets were empty? What happened first, babies? That he realized, so he realized that the streets were empty and then he left the office. O se dio cuenta de eso mientras se estaba yendo. So take that into account, babies. Here you have two actions happening almost at the same time. Pero si se dan cuenta, él arrancó con una acción y mientras estaba haciendo esa acción nunca la culminó. Bueno, no la culminó en ese momento porque se dio cuenta de otra cosa. Tengan presente esto. La acción que interrumpe a la otra siempre va a ser en pasado simple. Él estaba haciendo esto y llegó algo a interrumpir. ¿Qué interrumpió? Pues que él se dio cuenta de que las calles estaban vacías. Entonces eso hizo que él dijera como, no, espere, voy a dejar de irme, voy a hacerlo más despacio Una acción interrumpió a la otra acción, okay? So look at this. As he was leaving the office, he realized that the streets were empty. He was walking back home when he heard some footsteps. Once again, babies, simple or continuous. What can you see there? Simple or continuous. What can you see there, babies? Was this one? Okay, let me check the chat. Okay, look at this, my dears. Okay. He was walking back home. That's continuous. That's an action he was doing. Él estaba caminando de vuelta a casa. He was walking back home when something happened. What happened? He heard some footsteps. So look at this structure. He was walking back when something interrupted his process and something else happened. Él estaba haciendo algo cuando llegó otra cosa que lo interrumpió, que interrumpió esta primera acción. Él estaba caminando cuando escuchó algo. Can you see? So once again, we have an action that is happening that was in progress in the past, and then an action that interrupts that other action. And we have this word in the middle. What is the meaning of when? What is the meaning of when, guys? Majo Garcia, what is the meaning of when?
¿Cuándo?
¿Cuándo? So, he was walking back home cuando he heard some footsteps. Can you see? So, this word is also important. Take notes, guys. When he heard some footsteps. Let's continue, guys. He turned around, but no one was there. This was just an action he did. Just one quick, just like a fast action he did. He turned around, se volteó, but no one was there. So what happened? He walked faster, but the footsteps seemed closer and louder. So look at this part. He walked faster, but the footsteps seemed closer and louder. Simple or continuous? What happened there? Simple or continuous? Simple. There you have just an action he did. As everything happened, he decided to walk faster. So he walked. Y él lo hizo. Se acabó. Lo hizo. Caminó rápido. But look at this. Once again, we have as. Ya tenemos palabritas claves. When, as. Look at this. As he was running home, he saw a bar and he hid there. What are you using there? Simple or continuous? Who can tell me? Okay, Sophie is saying continuous. Something else? You are using both, babies. Están usando los dos. How do you know? As he was running home, the first part, as Sophie was saying, it is in continuous, but as he was doing this, he saw something. So once again, look at this part. He saw a bar and he hid there. This second part is in simple, guys. He saw a bar and he hid there. What is the meaning of hid? What is the meaning of hid, guys?
¿Escondido?
Se escondió. Eso es el pasado de esconderse. He hid there, se escondió. Look at this. He was doing something. What's that something? He was running. Ya no estaba caminando, ahora estaba corriendo a la casa. He was running home and he saw a bar. Once again, he was doing something and then something else happened that interrupted this action. Hay una acción que sucede que interrumpe la que estaba siendo realizada. ¿Sí ven? So, the process, the progress in past stops with the action that he finishes. ¿Lo ven? Y se esconde ahí. Look at this. There he asks for help. Simple, pidió ayuda. No hay ninguna acción que interrumpa nada, así que simplemente el pasado lo hizo. He asked for help. And look at this. He began talking to the barman. I was walking home and someone was following me. Si ustedes ven esto así entre comillas, ¿qué se imaginan? This is the context of the story too. Él está contando el contexto de lo que estaba pasando. Siempre que sean contextos es continuous. Remember that. Please don't forget that. So I was walking home and someone was following me. But the barman said, he was saying this and the barman said something. Man, the footsteps are yours. The soles of your shoes came off. So what's the end of this story? What happened? Was there someone following the guy? Yes or no? Was someone following the guy? ¿Alguien realmente estaba siguiendo al señor?
No,
No. What happened?
que es tonto.
He's tonto? And why? Why is he silly?
Because the footsteps y era de él.
Uh-huh. That's it. There have never been someone following him. It was just the noise, the sound. I mean, he heard something, and that something he heard was the sole of his shoes coming off. Se le cayeron, se le despegaron las suelas de los zapatos. So that's the end of the story. Can you see, my dears? We have just one context. We have just one story, and it is the mysterious stalker. But we are using the both tenses. We are using past continuous and we are using past simple. And this is something super common in English, babies. When you are telling stories and talking about, for example, events or things that happened in the past, most of the times you have to be the narrator. Tienes que narrarlo. And when you are doing that, you are going to realize how past simple and past continuous are going to be mixed. Okay, you got it? So that's it. Questions up to this point? I guess no. No confusions by now. So let's continue with the next part. Now that we have checked this beautiful and weird story, we are going to review these things of past simple. And this
Miss,
is...
la
Tell
cuestión.
me, Dani.
Sí, tengo una duda.
Tell me.
Ok, ¿cómo sé cuándo son los dos en una misma oración?
I am going to explain in some minutes. But usually, Danny, when you have an action, when you have two actions and one action interrupt the other one, you have both. Cuando tienes dos acciones y una interrumpe a la otra, siempre va a haber una en continuo y una en simple. Una que estaba pasando y otra que llegó a interrumpirla. Es una de las formas más fáciles en la que lo puedes identificar, ¿listo? Pero
Ok.
ya lo vamos a explicar un poquito mejor. Okay, we are going to check, first of all, the past simple uses. You have said it, but we are going to check it no matter what. So, Sophie, can you please help me reading this slide, princess?
Okay, Miss, the first.
Everything.
Okay. Past simple. Number one, for things that happened at a specific time in the past, at midnight time finished his work. Number two, a serious or completed action in the past. Time saw a bar and he hid there.
There, okay, thank you. So look at this, my dears. These are two of the most important uses we have for past simple. And we are going to take some examples from the story we have read together. So, we are going to use past simple to talk about things that happened at a specific time in the past. For example, this one, at midnight, a specific time, Tim finished his work. Yeah? A specific time, a specific action that finished, a specific action that happened. And what happened then? Series of completed actions in the past. Cuando tienes una serie de acciones que sucedieron que están completas, como una cadenita de acciones en el pasado, that's going to be with past simple. So you have Tim saw a bar and he hid there. This happened first, this happened then, but there is a series of completed action. No hay una acción que interrumpa a la otra, es una acción que siguió a la otra. So be careful with that. Questions up to this point, guys? So I am going to give you some seconds to take notes. Okay, ready, my dears? Did you take notes or no yet? Please let me know. Can we continue or can we continue?
No chocolatina yet.
Okay, so take some extra time.
Listo.
Ready? Okay, let's continue, okay, guys? So that's past simple. Those are the uses. And now we are going to talk about the thing we talked about the previous week, and it is past continuous or progressive. Easy peasy. So here we go, first of all, with this. And we are going to begin distinguishing like past continuous from present simple. Let me put this bigger for you. Okay, look at this. First of all, you have that past continuous is the longer action and the past simple is the shorter action. What is the meaning of longer?
Largo.
Longer, it is in comparative form. So long is largo and longer, más largo, okay? And if this is largo, más largo, what happened with shorter?
Cortísimo.
Cortísimo no, más corto.
Cortísimo.
Okay, so when the first thing you are going to identify here, babies, when we use past continuous versus past simple, is that one of the actions is going to be longer than the other one. You're going to have like a long action and a short action, okay? Look at this. The shorter action, it is going to be the past simple. These red letters is past simple, okay? The shorter action, past simple, happens while the longer action, past continuous, is still happening. ¿Listo? The shorter action, past simple, happens while the longer action, past continuous, is still happening. What is the meaning of while, babies? Do you know that? But what is the meaning of while? What is the meaning of this word, while? Yes, Pachito, mientras. Entonces, la acción más corta, que va a ser la que va a ir en pasado simple, sucede mientras la acción más larga, que es la que está en pasado continuo, aún está sucediendo. So, let's check this example from the story we are reading. Let's read the example. Danny, can you please help me reading this part, darling? As he was leaving.
Okay. As he was leaving the office, he realized the streets were empty.
Thank you. As he was leaving the office, he realized the streets were empty. So look at this, guys. As he was doing this long action, because he was leaving the office, that means he had to turn off the computer, he had to maybe take the elevator, he had to go to the first floor, and he had to walk. I mean, it is a long action. He realized. This action of realize about something is super short. Cuando tú te das cuenta de algo, es algo que sucede like, en un segundo, super rápido. Can you see? So, one action is going to be short, one action is going to be long. That's the first way to identify when to use simple, when to use continuous. Tell me, Dani.
Una pregunta.
A question.
¿Acá te equivocaste o así es que pusiste primero past simple y luego past continuous, pero en el ejemplo pusiste primero past continuous y luego past simple?
No importa, mi amor, es solo para que, o sea, no pasa nada con el orden. Lo importante es que tú sepas que el pasado simple va a ser siempre la acción corta y el pasado continuo va a ser la acción larga. ¿Sí ves? Acá mismo te lo puse con colores.
Okay.
La acción corta es el pasado simple, la acción larga es el pasado continuo. Entonces no pasa nada. Tú puedes decir, he realized the streets were empty as he was leaving the office. Puedes cambiarle el orden, no pasa nada.
Okay.
Okay? So guys, more questions? So I am going to give you some time to take notes of these, guys. try to do it with different colors, guys, if possible. I know that not all of you have like pens from different colors, but try to do it because that is going to help you remember better, okay? That is going to help you to study better, for example, for the future. So try to do it with different colors. Go ahead, some seconds to take notes.
Ready,
Tell me, baby.
ready.
Alrighty, what about the others? Ready? Or no yet? Please let me know. I'm going to give you some extra seconds because maybe some of you haven't finished yet, and then we are going to continue. Okay, let's continue, my dears. So we have this. The longer action, past continuous. The shorter action, past simple. No questions, right? Now, look at this. This is the second thing you have to take into account. Oh my gosh. In order to identify when to use past simple, when to use past continuous, how to use them together. So let's take a look to this title. Interrupted action in the past. Let's take a look to this like weird timeline I have here. You have past, you have present, you have future. Everything is going to happen in the past. We have that super clear because it is past simple, past continuous. But what happened, babies? When you have an action that has a duration in time and there is another action that comes and interrupts, that's when you have to use both tenses. That's when you have to use past simple and past continuous. Because taking into account the thing I explained like in the previous slide, what's the long action? The longer action. What is the longer action? Simple or continuous? What did I say? Continuous, Danny. Perfect. So you have this long action that was happening in the past, and then a mini action came and interrupt the action that was happening. Can you see? So boom. And the action, the short action that interrupts is in past simple. So we are going to check this part. We are going to check the example we have here. I am going to ask Pachito, can you please help me reading the example you have here, darling?
He was walking back home when he heard some footsteps.
Thank you. So he was walking back home. First action is in past continuous or past progressive, and the action is that was walking. The long action, he was walking from this hour to this hour. He was doing something long. And the next part, he heard some footsteps. That's the second action. It is in past simple, and it's the fact he heard. This action is shorter than this action. Can you see? This action interrupts this action. And how do you know that one action is interrupting the other one? Because look at this. You have when. This action interrupts this action. How do you know? Because you have a when. Hay una acción que interrumpe a la otra. The first action, the long action, continues. The short action, the one that interrupts, is going to be this one. It's going to be in simple. Questions up to this point? I am going to give you some time to take notes, babies. Okay, ready, babies, or no yet? Please let me know. Say something, ready or no?
Ready.
Ready. Okay, let's continue. Okay, let's continue. So, my dears, this is the second form. You have one action, interrupted action in the past. One action that interrupts the other one. Let's continue. Look at this. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You can also have a specific time as an interruption, okay? It can be, I mean, you may have not literally the verb, but you may have an interruption also with specific times, like this example. So I am going to ask Juan Pablo, darling, can you please help me reading this example?
Espérate que sea un poquito borroso.
Let me put
Dice,
it.
listo, ya. At midnight, Tim still was working in the office.
Thank you. So look at this. At midnight, medianoche, Tim was still working in the office. Can you see? So look at this. Last night at 6 p.m., I ate dinner. Or you can also have last night at 6 p.m., I was eating dinner. What happened here, babies? This is just to show you, oh my God, give me a second because this is, okay. This is just to show you guys that it doesn't matter when you have a specific times. Cuando tú tienes un tiempo específico, puedes usar simple or you can use continuous. Let me try to make this bigger because it is not working as well as I hope. Okay. So you can use simple or you can use continuous. Continuous. It doesn't matter. If you say last night at 6 p.m. I ate dinner, you are talking about an action that is already done, an action that is finished, that it's over. If you say last night at 6 p.m. I was eating dinner, you are talking about an action that had a duration in time. And both are okay. With the specific times, you are going to have the chance to use both, and both are going to be okay. Questions up to this point? Questions up to this point? So please take notes, babies. Okay, ready, my dears? Can we continue? Or no yet? Yes? Okay, you are so quiet, so I guess yes. Thank you, Sari. Let's continue then. Look at these guys. When you are talking about past simple and past continuous, you may have also this chance, parallel actions. What is the meaning of parallel? What is that?
Miss,
Tell me, baby.
paralelas.
Paralelas. And what happened when you have two parallel actions? Well, those are two actions that are happening at the same time. Pilas con esto, mis amores. Cuando ustedes tienen dos acciones y una interrumpe a la otra, vas a usar la que interrumpe en pasado simple y la que es interrumpida, o sea, la larga, en pasado continuo. Pero cuando tienes acciones paralelas, when you have parallel actions, guys, you are going to use just past continuous. Okay? Just past continuous. With parallel actions, you are going to use just past continuous. Got it? So look at this. I was walking home and someone was following me. These two actions were happening at the same time. Can you see? At the same time, there is no an action that interrupts. There is not an action that happens first and then the other one that happened later. There is no an action longer than the other one. No, it is exactly at the same time. I was walking home and someone was following me. When this happens, acciones en el pasado que suceden al mismo tiempo, utilizas solo past continuous, solo pasado continuo. Okay? Questions about it, babies? So go ahead, please take notes.
Ready, miss.
Ready? Okay, what about the others? Ready or no yet? Okay, we are ready. So perfect, let's continue. So don't forget, guys, parallel actions, just past continuous. No se me vayan a confundir. Please don't get confused with simple. No se confundan con el simple. El simple es para acciones una que sigue a la otra. Esto pasó primero, esto pasó después y esto le siguió. El pasado continuo es para decir acciones que estaban sucediendo al mismo tiempo. Okay? Let's keep going, guys. Because you are flying today. Look at this one. This use is super important. And this is, oh my gosh. This is for past continuous. Atmosphere. As I was telling you, the atmosphere, the context of the story, the background of the story. That's going to be done. Hey, Nico.
Profe, ¿te puedo decirte una cosa?
Yes.
Que se me fue la luz unos minuticos, se me fue la luz y el internet y no puedo conectarme.
No te preocupes, mi amor. No te preocupes que todavía estamos en la explicación. Y de igual forma yo te dejo la grabación de la clase por si quieres verlo otra vez. ¿Listo?
Ok.
Si tienes preguntas, me avisas. So look at this, guys. You are going to use the past continuous for the atmosphere, for the context of your story, for the background of it, okay? Okay, let's read this example we have here. It is like different from the one we had in the story we have as base, but we are going to read the entire example. So, Majo, okay, Majo is without a microphone. So, let's go to Vero. Vero, can you please help me reading this entire example?
Okay, Miss. Atmosphere. When I walked into the office, several people were busy typing. Some were talking on the phones. The boss was yelling directions, and customers were waiting to be helped.
Thank you, Princess. So look at this, guys. We have one action, one short action that happened when I walk into the office. Cuando yo llegué, cuando yo entré, se acabó. And then this is going to begin showing you the atmosphere, the things that were happening. Look at this. All of this atmosphere is going to be done in continuous, not only because it is the atmosphere, but also, guys, because you are going to have multiple actions happening at the same time. Can you see? And when you have multiple actions happening at the same time, as I have been telling you a lot of time, you are going to use continuous. So when I walk into the office, all of this was happening at the same time. People were busily typing. Some were talking on the phones. The boss was yelling directions, and customers were waiting to be helped. All of this is happening at the same time. And he is checking that and he realized that because he walked into the office. So when you have atmospheres, cuando ustedes quieren dar el contexto de lo que está pasando, el background de la historia, como toda la atmósfera que tienen alrededor de lo que van a contar, eso es con past continuous. Questions about it? No? So go ahead, babies, please take notes. Ready, guys? Can we continue? Or no yet? Please let me know. Okay, Pachito is ready. What about the others? Ready? Yes, I guess yes, because you are quiet.
Yes.
Yes, okay, let's continue there. So don't forget, for the atmosphere, guys, the context continues. And look at this, guys. When we have repetition and irritation, that is like, look at this. Repetition in the past. Cosas que repetías mucho en el pasado, like habits that you had in the past. So look at this. She was always coming to class late. He was constantly talking. He annoyed everyone. I didn't like them because they were always complaining. So when you have repetitions, when you have things like habits in the past, you are going to use continuous. And look at this. What is this? Always, constantly, sometimes, never. Remember, those are adverbs of frequency. Acuérdense que son los adverbios de frecuencia. So you usually use these past continuous with these frequency adverbs. She was always coming late. She was constantly talking. She was never listening to music. You see? So go ahead, guys, take notes. This is not like that we're not going to be using this that much, but I want you to have this clear. So go ahead, 30 seconds to take notes. Let me check. Oh, thank you, Sophie. Okay, let's continue, my dears. Got it? So look at this. We are going to talk about this. This is really important. We have been checking these words in a lot of the examples we have had, but I want you to take notes of this. Please pay attention to this. While, when, and as. For everyone, once again, what is the meaning of while? Oh my gosh, sorry. What is the meaning of while? Mientras. What is the meaning of when?
No.
Cuando. What is the meaning of as? What is the meaning of as, guys? In this context. It is similar to while. These two are similar, okay? So look at these examples that we have here. The first one. He was walking back home when he heard some footsteps. You are going to use when, my dears, when you want to express that an action interrupts the other one. El when lo van a usar para decir que una acción está interrumpiendo a la otra. ¿Cuándo esto pasó? This when is always going to be before the action that interrupts. ¿Listo? Siempre lo van a tener antes de la acción que interrumpe. Entonces esto puede ser, he was walking back home when he heard some footsteps. O puedes decir, he was walking back home when he fell down. O puedes decir, he was running home when he saw a bar. So, before the action that interrupts, este when va a ser para introducir la interrupción que vas a tener ahí. Mientras esto estaba pasando, llegó esta cosa, lo interrumpió. Una acción larga es interrumpida por una acción más corta. Questions about the use of when? Questions about the use of when? When? ¿Cuándo? Cuando esto pasó. We have this. As. As is to say also mientras. But it is going to be every single time at the beginning of the sentence. Este as va a ser mientras, pero lo vas a tener usualmente al principio de la oración. Entonces, miren esto. As he was running home, he saw a bar and he hid there. Pregunto yo, ¿tienen una acción que interrumpe? ¿Sí o no en esta oración? As he was running home, he saw a bar and he hid there. Do you have an action that interrupts? Yes or no? Tell me. Take a look to the example. Do you have an action that interrupts another action? Yes or no?
In what example?
In this one. The second one. As he was running home, he saw a bar and he hid there. ¿Hay una acción que interrumpe a la otra? ¿Hay una acción
Yes.
más larga? Sí, sí hay. Y ahora pregunto, ¿ustedes tienen when? Les acabo de decir que el when es para introducir la acción que interrumpe. ¿Tienen when en algún lado?
No.
No. ¿Por qué? Porque este as hace que ya no tengas que usar el when. Porque te está diciendo, mientras pasó esto, esta otra cosa pasó. As he was running home, he saw a bar and he hid there. Ya tienes el as al principio, ya no tienes que poner nada más. As he was running home, simplemente, pum, de una la acción que interrumpe. He saw a bar and he hid there. Or you can say, as he was walking back home, he heard some footsteps. ¿Listo? And you also have this while. What is the meaning of while for everyone? Otra vez, pues mientras, es muy parecido al as. But look at this. While can be at the beginning, in the middle of the sentence, and it's okay. Si lo tienes al principio, va a funcionar más o menos con un as, como un as, no tienes que poner un when antes de la acción que interrumpe. For example, while he was working at the office, comma, the lights went out. Or you can say, the lights went out while he was working at the office. Entonces, este while siempre va a estar antes de la acción que es interrumpida. Siempre va a estar antes de la acción que tienes en pasado continuo. ¿Ok? Es lo mismo, el when antes de la acción que interrumpe, o sea, de la acción que tienes en pasado simple. El while antes de la acción que es interrumpida, o sea, del continuo. Puedes decir, the lights went out while he was working at the office, or while he was working at the office, the lights went out. Por ejemplo, esta. He heard some footsteps while he was walking back home. It can be a possibility too. Entonces, si ven, el orden no importa. No importa si no es que vaya primero uno, primero continuo y luego simple, o primero simple y luego continuo, no pasa nada. Lo importante es que tenga coherencia y que tú puedas ver qué acción interrumpió y qué acción es interrumpida y que puedas usar bien while, when, and as. Okay, when for the ones who interrupt, while, and as for the ones who are interrupted. Questions up to this point, my dears? Something to say? Okay, I am going to give you some seconds to take notes then. Ready, babies, or no yet? Please let me know. Ready, or no yet? Okay,
Me
Pachito.
ready.
Ready to, okay, let's continue. We are about to finish. I just wanted to explain this like slowly and so on. And just to finish, guys, I want to remind for you the forms. In past simple, let me make this bigger. Oh my God, not that big. Okay, the forms. Can you see in a good way there, or do you want me to make it bigger? Let me try to. Okay, that's it. Remember, las estructuras. Past simple, guys. This is not to take notes, but just for you to remember. In affirmative, you have your subject, your verb in past, and the ending, and this is with regular verbs. Okay? Stop it. Remember that. Irregular verbs, the subject, the irregular verb, that is the second column of your list of verbs. And in negative, you are going to use your auxiliary verb, that is did not or didn't. So didn't go. Verb in infinitive. Cuando tienes el auxiliar, el verbo va en infinitivo. Recuérdalo. They didn't go or they did not go. In interrogative, you just have to change the order. Acuérdense que en las preguntas solo hay que cambiar el orden. So the first thing is going to be the auxiliary verb. Did plus the subject plus the verb in infinitive because you have an auxiliary verb. So did you play? And that's it. Didn't she arrive? And when you have WH questions, babies, remember that it doesn't matter because the structure is going to be exactly the same. Menos con el verbo to be, que es was y were. Ese no es con did. ¿Listo? Where was I yesterday? Where were you yesterday? Okay? Or you can say, where did he come from? Where did you buy that clothes? What did you do yesterday? And that's it. This is like a super fast review. Past simple. Tell me.
A ver, entiendo que las preguntas uno es como el past continuous, ¿no? O sea, se cambia primero el este.
Siempre, amor, sí. En todos los tiempos verbales, la pregunta va a cambiar. Vas a cambiar el orden. En lugar de poner sujeto, verbo, complemento, vas a poner verbo, sujeto, complemento. El verbo auxiliar, ¿no? Entonces, en este caso, tú tienes un auxiliar que es el did. Entonces, te va a arrancar la pregunta con el did. Mira. Did you play? Did she study? Cambiaste el orden. En lugar de decir she studied, vas a decir did she. O en lugar de decir she didn't study, vas a decir did she study. Vas a empezar con tu auxiliar. Menos con el verbo to be, porque el verbo to be no utiliza el did. Es was or were. Stop. Where was I yesterday? And that's it. You have to change the order. That's with past simple. And with past continuous, guys, you have super clear the structure because we have been working with that a lot. Oh my gosh. Look at this. You have your subject, your verb to be in past, and the verb with ing. He was playing tennis. You were cooking a cake. In negative, you just have to put the verb to be in negative. She wasn't paying attention. They weren't listening to music. Interrogative, exactly the same as I was telling to Dali. You just have to change the order. Instead of having subject, verb to be, you are going to have verb to be subject. Can you see? Was she running a marathon? Because also verb with ing. Were they reading a book? And look at this. With WH question, it doesn't matter. No importa que la tengas al principio. Después vas a ir con lo mismo. Was I working? Es la misma estructura, solo que el WH te va a dar como una personalidad para la pregunta. Where was I working? Si tú solo dices, was I working? La respuesta va a ser yes. Yes, I was working. Or no, I wasn't working. Pero si pones where, ya te está diciendo en dónde. Where was I working? Oh, I was working at the school. Can you see? Basically, is that. This is just like a super fast review for you to check the structure. Babies, questions up to this point? Next class, babies, we are going to have some time to practice because today the class is over. We are going to be using these activities, these links, but I am going to send it to you the next class. And we are going to have some time to practice with these, okay? I guess you don't have questions up to this point because you have been quiet, but while practicing, we are going to have more questions. So don't forget to let me know if you have those questions, and don't forget that you are going to find the recording of the class in today's forum and in the YouTube channel. So I am going to stop the recording of the class now, my dears, and that will be all for today. Have a nice day. Bye bye.